Previously I had stated that Danganronpa EX was set to return this year, however after due consideration, I have elected to delay this further. The main reason is because I have been focusing on writing the first draft script of my original visual novel, Killer Connect, New Blood. In the past, I have found that bouncing back and forth between projects with interchanging updates has often resulted in simply slowing both down considerably. When I get in a certain headspace for a specific story, it is difficult to suddenly change gears on a dime. I have found that I am overall more productive when I have a single story to focus on, with a clear understanding of how to progress it. I am in the position with Killer Connect, New Blood now, where I have a pretty clear mental, soon-to-be textual outline on how to progress and conclude that story. By contrast, Danganronpa EX is a very complicated story where I have to juggle a lot of elements. Not just character development, thematic evolution, and literal events, but also the entire construction of the chapter's central mystery case. This requires a very involved outlining process in order to make the mystery compelling but also not too easily solved, and in many ways requires thinking about the logical progression of events backwards first and then unraveling the ramifications in ways that make sense. This is something that is difficult to juggle with writing other stories. Outlining Danganronpa EX takes about as long and is as mentally taxing as actually writing it, but with less finished work to show for it. By contrast, Killer Connect, New Blood is much more straightforward and I believe I can hard commit to it and get the first draft finished in a relatively quick manner. I believe I am already at about the halfway point, give or take. And once the script is in a complete state, I can move on to turning it into an actual game, a process that will involve reaching out to other people and generally be a longer-term background effort, during which I can return to focus on my Danganronpa fanfics writing-wise. But there is a perhaps more selfish reason that I'm choosing to prioritize Killer Connect, New Blood. I've always been someone acutely aware of my own mortality. I don't think you can even finish EX's prologue without realizing that. And it's lately dawned on me that despite all of my work, I have yet to have a finished story. If I got hit by a truck tomorrow, my legacy would amount to nothing but unfulfilled promises and unfinished drafts. I have been writing all my life, and yet the only story I can claim to have finished is a fantasy parody that I started as a joke and don't look back on with all that much pride. Don't take this as me indicating that I'm going to die anytime soon. By all accounts, that would be fairly unlikely. But the odds are not zero, and even though New Blood itself is only planned to be the first installment in a series, the story it presents could conceivably stand on its own as a finished piece of work. As I near my 30th birthday, that is something that I desperately want for myself. In the unlikely event that I end up dying young, I want to at least know that I finished a good story in my life that can stand as a cohesive testament to what I gave back to this earth. That was pretty dramatic, but it really isn't all that serious. Anyway, the point is that I want to finish New Blood before returning to my other projects. And hopefully the expedience at which I adhere to that task will prove this to be the correct decision. Zeke Freakout. Ciao ciao for now.